Bailey is a teacher with the Chautauqua Learn and Serve program, the cheering section over here on the left. He's been a remarkable teacher, apparently, according to all the students I've spoken with, working with these kids, and he's soon to be a Peace Corps volunteer. Yay! And what he wants to do is take the work that he's been doing in service learning with the Chautauqua Learn and Serve program and take it international. So I'll let him tell you about that and then introduce our esteemed speaker for tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Bailey Jackson from Panama City, Florida, and I have the distinct honor tonight of introducing our keynote speaker, Ms. Esther T. Benjamin, Associate Director for Global Operations over the Peace Corps. Now, I'm up here today really wearing two hats, and it's these two visions and their possibilities that I'm up here to briefly talk about before we get on with our main event. Now, the first hat is that as a teacher at Chautauqua Learn and Serve. Now, Chautauqua is no ordinary school. It is a school for disabled students aged 18 to 22 that is grounded in the concept of service learning, which at its heart requires an unshakable belief that all students can learn. And each person has value, worth, and strengths that can be highlighted through a lifestyle of service and learning, where our students practice the necessary life skills and values to become productive and engaged members of society. Now, my second hat, so to speak, is that of a soon-to-be Peace Corps volunteer. I have been selected and accepted an invitation to serve in Bulgaria, where I'll leave out in March to work in youth development, especially with youth and special needs. So I'm just going to briefly talk about my vision for my time during the Peace Corps and how I hope to use the Chautauqua model of service learning abroad. The adaptation of the Chautauqua model to the undeveloped world will help advance the communal interest of states and is in accordance with the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, which set a target date of 2015 for, among other things, the eradication of extreme poverty and hunger. Now, the idea of this model of service learning that promotes inclusion, diversity, cooperation, and integration among all segments of society can help improve the socioeconomic conditions that create a cyclic nature of violence, instability, terrorism, and poverty among impoverished and hopeless populations. Properly designed poverty reduction programs, including educational models that foster independence, increase employment opportunities, and foster civic engagement, can help facilitate the transition from war to peace and accelerate the rebuilding and sustained growth of societies. Now, I think this remains both a moral and a security imperative, as the effects of poverty and social exclusion are not isolated to those directly affected. Economic and poverty create a spillover effect that influences all people. Now, the old adage states that all politics is local, but I think it can further be stated that now all politics is global. No longer can the international community afford to simply isolate and segregate the forgotten downtrodden, as continued prosperity at home is increasingly reliant on the advance of prosperity abroad. I think the world is becoming smaller, and this room is evidence of that. Gone are the days of global empires and unipolar leadership. From the U.S. perspective, or really from the perspective of any future leaders, the question becomes, how do you lead in this new multipolar world? In an era of globalization, the landscape is rapidly changing, and this next crop of future leaders has to understand, how can they exercise leadership when so many nations demand and have a right to a seat at the table? And we know that the world still needs leadership and values and good people to do good things. And this new way to lead, so well understood by the Peace Corps, is to lead by partnership. Now, we have to ask, if we're going to enter into a partnership with someone, what is it that we want or expect from our partner? We want to know that they know us, that they understand us, our society, our culture, our values. They need to speak our language. Because the partnership has to benefit both sides. It can no longer simply be a one-way street. And this next generation of leaders in a global world have to have incredible and new skills from the past generation. They need language skills, cultural skills, the ability to understand and relate to people in foreign countries. We must encourage our future leaders to get out of their comfort zone and into the world, so that they can understand, relate to, and empathize with other people, other cultures, and foreign languages. To see people in remote corners of the globe as people with value, merit, and purpose, and not simply ignore, isolate, and condemn them and their needs. Now, our students at Chautauqua are great because they believe they can be great, and they follow the saying by Martin Luther King Jr. that everyone can be great because everyone can serve. Now, the UN Millennium Goal of eradicating extreme poverty and hunger is particularly relevant to the disabled community. Statistics show that around 10% of the world's population, or roughly 650 million people, live with a disability. According to the UN Development Program, 80% of these people with disabilities live in developing countries. It's estimated that 20% of the world's poorest people have some kind of disability. So it is my ambitious hope to try and fill this void. And the relationship between the Chautauquan model of service learning, the work of the Peace Corps, and the UN Millennium Goals offer a challenging but exciting opportunity to play some small part. Economist and professor Jeffrey Sachs said that eradicating extreme poverty continues to be one of the main challenges of our time and is a major concern of the international community. Ending this scourge will require the combined efforts of all, governments, civil society organizations, and the private sector, in the context of a stronger and more effective global partnership for development. And my hope and vision for my impending Peace Corps assignment is to play some role in meeting this generational challenge. But enough about me. I'm actually just up here to introduce our real speaker tonight. Ms. Esther Benjamin is a remarkable lady, and her resume is only matched by her passion and commitment to serving others. So I Googled Ms. Benjamin's resume last night when I was asked to make this introduction, and what I found is that her accomplishments are simply too exhaustive to go through. So we'll just stick with a few highlights. Ms. Benjamin previously worked at the International Youth Foundation as Chief Financial Officer, then as Vice President of Business Development, responsible for the development of global programs and partnerships in 75 countries. In 1999, President Bill Clinton appointed her a White House Fellow, one of the nation's most prestigious programs for leadership and public service, where she worked on international policies and programs. She is a member of the board of directors of Echoing Green, an organization that supports social entrepreneurs worldwide, and her current title is Associate Director for Global Operations of the Peace Corps. So it is with great honor that I introduce Ms. Esther Benjamin. Hi, nice to actually meet you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Bailey, for that warm introduction, and thank you for the incredible work that you're already doing. You sound as if someone who's completed Peace Corps service rather than someone who's about to begin Peace Corps service. We are so proud to have someone of your caliber and commitment and passion joining Peace Corps. You're exactly the type of people we want in the Peace Corps.
Thank you.
So,